paving. The paving over 3 days after should have been top story. It wasn't even covered. And the fact that now we have these text messages that reveal that they were asking the construction people to shut up. Hey, do you got construction people who know how to shut up? What? And then they lied. So they lied, said, no, this was in the plans all along. Well, so more really suspicious news coming out of the university where Utah University, where Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Turns out that they wanted so you know how they paved over the crime scene where he was assassinated? They literally paved over it. They scrubbed it, and then they, on the walls and the ceiling, they re-stuccoed it. This has really happened. This happened. That's happened immediately. So what they're doing is tampering with a crime scene. And they're trying to cover up something. That's why you would do that. The crime scene should be preserved. Usually you preserve a crime scene so that investigators, maybe the defense counsel's investigators, can go back and look at it so they can prepare a defense. Well, they've covered over it. They've covered over the crime scene. So there's no investigation to be done there. Workers, this is from Reuters. Workers installed pavers after fatal shooting of Trump ally Charlie Kirk. So that's from September 15th. That's how fast they did it. So he was assassinated on the 10th, September 10th. On the 15th, they already had it paved over. This is really happening. And, you know, any cop worth their badge knows that the best thing to do before any investigation of a crime scene is to bring a redecorator in, like a wedding planner, and have them turn the place into something fun and colorful so that everybody forgets. Here is Julius Rum says, 3 days after Charlie Kirk's assassination, they literally bricked over the exact location of the crime scene. I mean, that's just totally normal. So shut the F up. There it is. They totally paved over the crime scene. That's kind of remarkable. That just 3 days after. I guess they did it on the 13th or the 14th. And so guess what? The Utah Valley University leaked text messages obtained in a public request. It shows that the university immediately requested the entire area where Charlie Kirk was assassinated to be paved over, and they're talking about their workers keeping quiet. This is real. Here we go.
Remember how we all thought it was weird that U.V.U was renovating the courtyard where Charlie Kirk was assassinated only a few days after the fact? Then how a U.V.U official addressed this, saying that it wasn't an attempt to cover up anything, that the paving work was already on the calendar as part of a planned campus renovation. Well, it turns out that U.V.U was reaching out to construction companies on Saturday, September 13th, only 3 days after the assassination. Text messages were obtained by Project Constitution via a GRAMA request, which allows the public to request access to government records, including state universities. Now, the names are redacted, but it shows that as early as Saturday, September 13th, they were looking to paver the whole area, and that the guys in the construction company were en route to do that. And this one's weird. Maybe that would be good. My guys are well trained in keeping quiet. Why do they need to be quiet? The exchange goes...
My guys are well trained. Is this a construction company saying my guys are well trained in keeping quiet? Did they do the construction on Epstein Island? Maybe they did the Obama Library too. That place looks like it has a torture dungeon built right in it. I would think twice. If I was in construction, I would think twice about working for people who have to worry about you talking about your construction. They might come up with a permanent solution that doesn't exactly fit with your life plans, if you know what I mean. That's so anyway, hang on.
Trained in keeping quiet. Why do they need to be quiet? The exchange goes on to say that the university wants to get rid of all of the sod. The contractor asking if there's anybody on site that they should coordinate with, and someone responding, just get her done. Thank you. Usually a renovation like this would have to go through approvals and funding, not to mention it was a crime scene. Plus, if this was previously planned, would you need to be asking all of these questions, including making design decisions? So you have to wonder, how did they get this approval? And who gave it to them, and why?
Huh.
Those are all legitimate questions. Those are questions Megyn Kelly has no interest in, which I find hilarious. But I certainly, and I'm sure Candace Owens is interested. I'm certainly interested, and I'm sure most of the people who care anything about Charlie Kirk or this case are interested in this. I've been touting this. You think this would be front page news? Do you think this would be the top story on every news show? Hey, they paved over this thing, and now we find out. First of all, the paving over 3 days after should have been top story. It wasn't even covered. And the fact that now we have these text messages that reveal that they were asking the construction people to shut up. Hey, do you got construction people who know how to shut up? What? And then they lied. So they lied, said, no, this was in the plans all along. Well, if it was in the plans all along, as she said, why are you reaching out 3 days afterwards to find a construction company? Why are you trying to find a construction company with employees that know how to keep their mouths shut? What? Anyway, she makes a lot of great points. So I think, here's a bigger. We heard the media was bothering your team. Shall we send a uniform over? Maybe that would be good. My guys are well trained in keeping quiet. So send a cop over to get the media away from us. That's what this is. I think, and then this name is redacted, I think that person is on it with your media folks. Okay. There you have it. What? My guys are well trained in keeping quiet.
Oh, jeez.
Isn't that interesting? So how do they get them to keep quiet? So maybe everybody at that construction company has a criminal record and they don't want any trouble. Or maybe they're all in the closet and they don't want to be outed. Or maybe they're on the same construction team that did 9/11. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Or maybe all of the above. So these are the questions that I'm still shocked that someone like Megyn Kelly, who considers herself a top newswoman, isn't interested in. She doesn't ask any of these questions. She doesn't look for the answers to any of this stuff. And none of this stuff is a red flag to her. And I don't mean to pick on Megyn Kelly. I just been covering her a lot, and I mean nobody else is interested in these questions, right? So I'm not picking on Megyn Kelly. I'm saying that because she says she accepts the official story 100%, and she has no questions about it. And she doesn't watch Candace Owens, so she doesn't know any of the criticisms of the official story. So that's why I bring it up, because she's publicly said she believes the Kash Patel ridiculous story about what happened. That's why I bring it up. Why aren't more people interested in why they paved over that thing immediately? And now we find out they're lying about it. That they were reached out 3 days afterwards to find a construction crew that knew how to keep their mouth shut.
When a tragic incident happens on public property, institutions are expected to preserve every detail, not for drama, not for headlines, but out of respect for the life lost and for the truth still forming. Please, before we continue, never forget to drop your contribution. Please and please drop your comment. As you listening to this new updates, we would definitely respond to all comment. We will be glad to hear your feedbacks on this report. We stand for truth. We stand for Charlie. But in the case of Charlie Kirk's final location, something subtle happened. Quiet, unannounced, and strangely, right after the public stopped paying attention. Today, we walk through what changed, why it matters, and why the university's version of events doesn't comfortably sit beside the facts available. What do you think? Is the case moving forward carefully, or is progress being slowed by procedural delays? Share your thoughts in the comments below. That's where we hear your thought. Cues, we will definitely respond to all comment, and also make sure you comment where you're watching from. To stay updated on every development, subscribe now, turn on notifications, and also don't hesitate to support this movement so you stay informed as new update becomes available. And This is Detective Max, and together, we fight for justice. The site where Charlie Kirk collapsed has become more than a physical point. It's a symbol of unanswered questions, a moment frozen in time, and the last place he stood before everything changed. Normally, such a place remains untouched until every agency, every investigator, every analyst has completed their review. But this site? It didn't stay the same for long. And that is where the story begins. At first glance, the area looks normal. Clean pavement, new markings, freshly organized surroundings. Nothing loud, nothing suspicious, just different. No announcement, no public notice, no explanation. And the timing? That's what catches the attention of anyone who has ever worked in investigations. In the world of professional analysis, small changes speak louder than grand gestures. A shift that seems harmless may actually be part of a timeline worth revisiting. The changes didn't happen months later. They didn't happen after a committee review. They didn't follow a public explanation. They happened quietly. Shortly after the event, during a period when families were grieving, the public was confused, and the nation was arguing over blame instead of asking questions. In that window, the ground beneath the story shifted. And because the changes weren't announced, it becomes important to understand why. When questioned, the university's official remarks were simple: routine maintenance, pre-planned improvements, necessary campus adjustments. All reasonable phrases, all believable explanations, until you compare them with the public timeline, the maintenance schedule, and the moment the changes were actually made. That's where something doesn't match. Not a conspiracy, not an accusation, just a gap between what was said and what the facts on the ground show. And in investigations, gaps matter. When you alter a location connected to a tragedy, you aren't just adjusting concrete. You're adjusting memory. You're adjusting accuracy. You're adjusting what future investigators, journalists, and historians will see. Even a small shift can erase context or make an important detail disappear. People may forget, but the ground doesn't. So, when the ground changes and the timing doesn't match the official story, the public has every right to ask, why now? Why there? Why so quietly? According to the available records, the maintenance plans weren't scheduled for that week. Campus updates didn't list that location, and the posted materials didn't show any urgency. Yet the work still happened directly over the area connected to the incident. Again, no wrongdoing claimed, just a reality that doesn't match the explanation given. And that mismatch is what keeps this case alive in the minds of people who believe the public deserves clarity, not silence. At the end of the day, this isn't about politics. It isn't about blame. It isn't about outrage. It's about a simple principle. When someone loses their life in a public space, the truth surrounding that moment becomes a public responsibility. Quiet changes, silent shifts, unexplained adjustments, they all keep one question alive. Why wasn't the full story shared? And until the answers align, until the explanations match the facts, the public will keep looking. Because a family deserves clarity, a community deserves transparency, and history deserves honesty. Sometimes, the loudest part of an investigation is the thing no one bothered to mention.